trumpet come, thy will be done, ding done.
Good morning, you guys. Oh, the glare is like really bad, but I'm trying to like get a good angle. My children are awake now, and I decided to vlog today, but not really. It's not really gonna be a vlog. I'm just gonna be sharing with you guys Peloton eating for the first time. So yeah, so it's just gonna be kind of like a morning situation, but they're awake now, and today is the day. So let's go get these heffalumps. And if you see my skin, it is glowing skin. It's beautiful. I did a morning skincare routine. I gotta edit it and like do the voiceover and stuff like that, but I did a morning skincare routine and showing you guys how I'm healing my hyperpigmentation and my acne scars. And I really think that you guys are really going to enjoy that video, and then you guys can come along on this journey with me, because it's definitely a journey. I know she hungry. You gotta go see. I'm on my way. What you doing? You did it! Sorbet. Good job, Panda. Good job. This is what I'm eating today. This is the moist oatmeal I was telling y'all about in the other vlog. But my milk tea, oatmeal strawberries, that's what I'm eating today. And my grandma's here. Say hi, Grandma. Hi. Here is what Panda's eating for breakfast. So Daya is going to be eating this. Huh? So we're going to feed them. We're about to feed her now. I'm about to sit down at the table, and it's about to happen. This is about to be so funny. I feel like she's gonna eat this food like a grown person. Okay, it's about to happen.
You got her food?
We got her food. We have her food, and we're about to feed Pelly for the first time. Say yay!
No way you could have got her to go home me a little bit.
No yay. No yay. Pelly, say yay! Yay! Clap for yourself. Yay! Shalom, it's Daya, back at it again with another video that she should have been finished. If you saw the clips earlier of her actually eating, I did those like a whole month ago. Like, it's totally August, and I just am just now filming the second half. Sorry if the light is going in and out. I'm using the light from above. I hope you guys can hear me. Like, if you can't, that's going to make me actually really sad, but I'll just turn up the audio. So I just want to start this off with a disclaimer that I am not a medical professional yet. As Lord's will, I'll be able to go back to school in the future and finish getting my degree. But I'm not a medical professional at the moment. So what I'm literally sharing with you is an experience and knowledge that I've learned through my experience. So please, if you decide to do this, if you decide to exclusively breastfeed your child for 1 year, if you decide to continue to breastfeed your child for 3 years, of stuff that I'm about to discuss in the video, if you decide to do that, understand that you are making your own personal decision to do that. And I'm not forcing anybody to do this. I am not holding you down by gunpoint. So if you make the decision to do this, please get all the necessary information. Take from my experience if you want, but make sure that you're doing your research too, because that's exactly what I did. I made sure before I decided to do this, I got all the information that I could, and I did all the research that I could, so that anything that happened between now and between then and between the time I started and the time that I finished exclusively breastfeeding her for this first year, that I knew what I was getting myself into. I didn't just do it because somebody made a video of it on YouTube. I did a lot more research than that, along with the schooling, the stuff that I learned in school when I was enrolled in school. So just make sure that you're doing that. That's just what I want to start that off with, because I don't need nobody coming for me in an email, and I don't need the FBI knocking at my door, because I'm not about that life. You feel me? So why I chose this path, it basically boils down to 3 factors. Well, 2 factors, and they're literally verses from the Bible. This is why I decided to choose this path. No, 3, it's 3. 1 is because when I was in school and I was like really serious about what I was studying, and so when it came to the medical stuff, I really wanted to know, like, what are they putting in vaccinations? What are they putting in, what are they putting in this formula? What is this formula made out of? Is it the best alternative? What are other things that they are unnecessarily giving our children that we could probably do without? The other 2 reasons were this book in the Apocrypha, which is a part of the Bible, called, it was 2 Maccabees chapter 7 verse 27, which basically was saying that, but she bowed herself toward him laughing, the cruel tyrant of scorn spake in her country language on this manner: O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. So when I read that, I was just like, okay, so my foremothers did it, and this is a story where she had like 7 sons. So she did this with all of her sons, and I only have 2 kids, so I feel like the least I can freaking do is like breastfeed them. So I do plan on continuing to breastfeed her for a full 3 years. She is currently eating now because she's past 1 year of age, but I do plan to continue to breastfeed her. Lord's will, life lasts. That is the goal, to breastfeed her the 3 years, and I'm also almost hitting the 3-year mark on my 2-year-old. She'll be 3 in a couple of months. Actually, in about 2 months, she'll be 3. It's August, September, October. Yep, 2 months. And then the second Bible verse that helped me, and I actually don't have my Bible in front of me, which is so stupid, but it's Lamentations 4 and 3, and I'll basically post it at the bottom of this part of the clip so that you guys can see. But basically, it's just saying that even sea monsters breastfeed their babies, but the daughter of my people have become cruel. And when I heard that, I was just like, I don't want to be cruel, and it's not like I don't have an example. Like, I have a whole foremother in the Bible that's saying, like, yeah, it's totally possible, even with 7 kids. So, I'm just like, let me just breastfeed my children. Like, that's the least I can do. If they're really a heritage of the Lord to me, if they're really a gift, like the Bible says that they are, then I should treat this gift well. And that brings me to the other reason why I started this journey, was because of the example. I understand that speaking for my demographic and the women in my community, is that it's really important to have an example. It's really important to have somebody to look towards, to know that it's totally possible to do something that you've been taught your whole life is not possible. A lot of us, even with the lactation, and we're going through an age where people are like, yay, breastfeeding, but even when you go to the doctors and when you talk to lactation consultants, a lot of them only tell you that you need to breastfeed for 3 months or 6 months, when in reality, the need far exceeds that. Like, that first year of life, they're definitely developing their immune system and their gastrointestinal system to be able, and their metabolism, to be able to fully function as they grow. So I think from my research, I just understood that it's a necessity for me to be able to do this and give my child the best head start that they could possibly have as a child, and give their bodies time to develop more before I decide to, bombard them with all this other stuff, you feel me? And just being able to show my sisters that there's another way that you could do things, a way that could potentially yield a better outcome. Not that everybody has the same circumstance. I do want to also clarify that, because I know somebody's gonna say I'm special. So, be special. Everybody can't, and that is the truth. Like, there is a good block of sisters that are not able to actually breastfeed, and that is 100% understandable. And don't think just because you're not physically able to that makes you any less of a mother. That is not what I'm trying to teach here. That's not the example that I'm trying to give. That's not the knowledge I'm trying to give. Though I have talked to many of sisters that have breastfed in the past, and I know some of them are going to see this video, and just based off the conversation, they always say, if I had known somebody like you, or if I had somebody to talk to like you back when I was breastfeeding, back when I had my children, I would have kept going. So just based off of those conversations, I was able to learn that a lot of sisters don't breastfeed or don't continue to breastfeed 95% of the time because they don't have the actual support, and they haven't been properly informed of their options when it comes to nourishing their children. So I really do take the idea of creating a better me for the people, or for my sisters around me, really seriously. So my thought process with this was not only to help nourish my child's mind and my child's body, and to nourish my children and bring them up according to my foremother's example, but it was also to give sisters in my community an example of the possibilities that come along with breastfeeding, the possibilities and the capabilities of their own body that the Most High has blessed them with. So I really do encourage for sisters to do more research on the prospect of continuing breastfeeding past 1 year of age, and also breastfeeding exclusively for the first year. I think that the more that you know, the better decision, the more informed of a decision you can actually make. So yeah, that was another reason why. I definitely had a quote from this sister that I like to watch sometimes. Her name is Patricia, and she is a motivational speaker, and she likes to say impossible just means that it's not a priority. Like, nothing is impossible, it's just not a priority to you. So in a sense, again, let me go back and reiterate that I did say earlier that some people cannot. Like, there are circumstances where some people sincerely cannot breastfeed, but for the other 90%, for the other percentage of people that can, impossible just means it's not a priority. So when I did this and I was actually learning more about it and seeing how time consuming it was, how exhausting it could be, and I understand that, but I had to make it a priority, and I was deciding to do this through hospitalizations and pregnancy, and being told by people around me that I should stop. Like, you should just stop. Like, isn't this hard enough? Like, why don't you just give up? And I didn't, because I understand that the greatest reward, it comes through adversity. The scriptures say that. So I knew that just because I was going through a little bit doesn't mean that I can't do the most that I can do for my child. And I did understand that if this is seriously something that I wanted to accomplish, if this is really a goal that I wanted to accomplish, that I had to make it a priority, and that I had to be able to still fight through whatever hurdles came along the way. So that's exactly what I did. I decided to just keep pushing and keep trying to do this for the end goal. And it was difficult. Breastfeeding is a full-time job, I'm trying to tell you, but it's definitely worth it in the end to know that you're not only nourishing their minds through the education and the experience, but also I'm able to nourish their bodies literally through me, because the Most High made me able to do that, made me capable of being able to do that. And it's so good when I get to see my daughters playing with baby dolls and then they pretend to breastfeed their baby dolls. It's a generational cycle that is being formed, teaching my children that you are all your baby needs for the first year of their life, and for many years after. The nurturing and the breastfeeding is there, and you are totally capable of doing that, and you should never feel like you're not. And even if it's a little bit hard, or even if it's hard, or even if it's difficult in the beginning, or in the process, the fruit that it yields is so sweet. It is so sweet. So that was one of the things. And of course the health benefits as well was another good reason why I decided to continue to breastfeed the exclusively first year. My daughter has never gotten sick. And I know a lot of people say like this is a hit and miss, but I'm going to explain later why I believe scientifically that she never got sick while I was breastfeeding. So she never got sick. She never had bad hay fever and allergies. Of course, she would get a little, when allergy season came around, she would get a little sneezy, but it was never like sinus infections, anything. She never she never was malnourished. Never. The whole situation was never malnourished. She was a very happy, active, talking, running. She started walking early. She started walking at 9 months. So she was very active and very alert. So the whole process, that was another reason why I decided to keep going through this path, because I feel like her immune system was definitely boosted, and I could tell that it was. I could tell from my other child that her immune system would potentially be boosted. So I know this is one thing that I definitely wanted to continue to do. So before I move into the things that I've learned and the things that I want to improve on, because we all have room to grow, I really just want to make sure that I again remind everybody that this is not a bash session to say that you aren't doing enough, or that you're just, if you haven't done this, that you're just a bad mom. This is literally just me sharing my experience to hopefully give some support to a sister that may be thinking, I want to do this, but is it possible? I want to do more for my child, but I don't know if I can. So if there's one thing that you take away from this whole video, whether you decide to breastfeed your child 3 years or not, whether you decide to breastfeed it exclusively for 1 year or not, is just that there's always room to grow, and there's always room to elevate, and that there's always room to improve. And that even through my experience, like I'm going to mention later on, that there are some things that I wish I did more of in this experience, that Lord's will, if I have another child in the future, I would love to be able to attempt this type of affection on my child as well, and give this type of love to my child in that way as well. So there's always room for improvement, and just because someone offers you a new path to take does not mean that they're trying to bash you for the path that you have taken. So just remember that, and just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, and understand that it's all definitely up for you. I believe that all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High. So when I read this, I felt compelled to be able to model myself as close to this as possible, as close to my foremothers in scripture as possible. Not that anybody specifically said exclusively breastfeed your child for a year, but just the concept of breastfeeding and the concept of continuing for 3 years. It was like, okay, the Most High put this there for a reason. Let me try my darndest to to model myself after this. So yeah, and I'm all for becoming greater for whatever the Most High decides to use me for in a situation. So it may entail hardship and it may entail like diligence, but I'm totally here for it. And that's all this is about. It's just about trying to become better for my walk with the Most High and for the path, and hopefully I'm able to inspire others along the way. Lord's will, the Most High can use me for that purpose. So let's just get, because this is going to be a long video, but it's definitely necessary. Okay, so the things that I have learned through this whole situation is that you gotta eat well. That ties into when I said my daughter never got sick. That's because I ate so well. I took a crap ton of vitamins and nutrients, drinking protein shakes, superfoods, freaking collagen, calcium, prenatal, postnatal vitamins, zinc, magnesium. I was taking all of my vitamins and then some, because I had to maintain my health while also having enough to give to her as well. So it's important, and I had to eat well too. That means I was eating lots of vegetables. Of course, I am plant-based. I do have my I have had my moments in the past. Right now I'm being a lot more strict on that recently, but I have had my moments in the past where randomly I would eat meat. But for the most part, I do try to maintain a plant-based diet. And so I was able to do this on a plant-based diet. I'm not vegan, by the way. Please, I'm not vegan. But on a plant-based diet, I was able to actually maintain breastfeeding her exclusively for a full year and still maintain my health as far as like my internal health. Like I'm not deficient in anything or anything like that. So yeah, that was one thing. I had to make sure I eat well, and I had to make sure that I took my vitamins and stuff. You are not going to have a healthy breastfeeding baby if you are not healthy. That is so key, and I wish that more sisters discuss, not more sisters, but I wish that more articles discuss that part, because a lot of articles will accomplish the idea that your baby may or may not get sick. It just depends on the mother, but nobody wants to address the elephant in the room, which is if the mother is eating crap, her breast milk is crap. Like, if the mother is not eating good, her breast milk is no good. So, of course, your baby's gonna be getting sick, and you're gonna be getting sick because you're not taking care of yourself. Like, that is obvious. Everything that you eat goes in your breast milk. All the nutrients you intake goes in your breast milk. If you're not getting any nutrients, there's no nutrients. Your breast milk is not nutrient dense. Therefore, the baby's gonna be getting sick, and because she's taking the last bit of nutrients that you do have in your breast milk, you're gonna get sick. That's the science behind that. Like, you're gonna have to eat well if you're gonna be breastfeeding. You can't be sitting up here eating McDonald's and Chick-fil-A all 24/7 and eating stuff that's just high fat, no nutrients. You eat meat every day of the week, ain't no dang vegetables, and then expect for your breast milk to yield the same nutritional benefit as somebody who's getting all their vitamins and getting all their nutrients. And again, you can easily do that just by taking vitamins. You don't even have to be plant-based. You just take some dang vitamins, some good ones, and make sure that you're taking enough so that it actually makes a difference. But I've already made a video about that, which you should check out, how I was able to breastfeed them, the stuff that I was taking to make sure that my breast milk was good. But yeah, that was the one thing that I definitely learned, is that you have to eat well. And that was why I was able to continue to breastfeed my 2-year-old while I was pregnant. I was able to continue to breastfeed both of them while I was in and out the hospital. So that's why, because I definitely had to make sure I was eating well. Another thing that I've learned is that your baby should take vitamins. Now, did mine? No. My baby didn't take vitamins. I took a lot of vitamins. She didn't need them. She was perfectly healthy again, never got sick, none of that stuff. So I didn't. But for the sake of the fact that I am not a medical professional, like I said before, I'm gonna tell you guys that you know what you do, you know what you into, you know what you eating, and you know how you live. give your baby vitamins, especially if you know that you're not taking care of your body as best as you could. At least give them the vitamins, because all you're gonna do is make them sick. And then you're gonna be like, it's the breast milk's fault. Like, no, it's not. It's your fault. Take accountability. It's your fault. You know that you're not eating well, and you're not giving your baby no type of vitamins, and then you trying to exclusively breastfeed them. You not even taking no vitamins. That doesn't even make sense. Don't do that. So another thing that I did learn was that feed them often. Like, feed them as much as they want. Don't put no time limit on it. Don't put no time stamp. Just feed them. Let them be fat and happy however they decide to be. Now, one thing that I have definitely learned to go along with that is that whatever your genetic makeup for your baby is, that is how big they're gonna get. Like, breast milk is really good at adapting to what the baby actually needs. So let's say you have a smaller baby and your baby is smaller. It really doesn't matter how much breast milk you give them or how much food you give them. If they have a fast metabolism in a sense, or if they're just a smaller build type of baby, then they're just gonna be a smaller built type of baby. For example, my oldest daughter is freaking huge. Like, she's tall, she has this super big pot belly, and on the other hand, my 1-year-old, she is just petite. And no matter how much, and even after starting to feed her food, she still is the same size, same petite size. Like, she's not a big girl like how her sister was. When her sister was her age, she had a pot belly. Like, literally, she was like a pot belly piglet. But her, on the other hand, she's just small, and that's just how she's made. That's just how she's built. So, and then on the other hand, I'll see other sisters that breastfeed their baby, and they're breastfeeding their baby exclusively, and in 1 month, their baby is the size of the Michelin Man, you know? So it really depends on genetics, how fast your baby's gonna grow. From my experience of seeing sisters and just even dealing with my own, it really depends on genetics how your baby's gonna grow while they're breastfeeding. If you're breastfeeding them exclusively, it just depends on the baby, because some sisters will breastfeed their baby and their baby blow up, and the other sisters breastfeed their babies and their babies, they're a little chubby, they're healthy, you know. Again, not malnourished, she was never sick, never any of that, but she was just smaller. She was a little petite little thing. Another thing that I've learned is that skin to skin is like so important. It's so important. The more skin to skin you do and the more on contact breastfeeding you do, the more milk you're gonna produce. So pumping is cool, but skin to skin helps your body learn your baby. That's why skin to skin is more important, because primarily this whole 3 years that I've been breastfeeding, I've did all of it primarily skin to skin. My body was able to really develop as my baby grew. My breast milk was able to develop according to the baby better. When I try to pump more than I did with my first child, I did a lot more pumping, so to say, like probably a little bit more because I was still in school, so I was doing more pumping. I felt like my body kind of would get lost. Like the breast milk would be so different from when I did times or days and weeks upon weeks of like skin to skin. It seemed like the quality was different and she was less likely to get sick. That was one thing I definitely did learn while I was pumping more with my first baby, was that she was more prone to getting a little more catching a cold. And she only caught one like once or twice, but those were during the times where I was pumping more than I was doing skin to skin. And in this instance, like I basically did skin to skin this whole time, so I didn't have that issue. But another factor that played in that, my diet was a little bit different than it is now. My diet is way better now. So yeah, skin to skin is really important. It helps the baby learn. It helps your body learn what the baby needs. So we can move on to the things that I want to improve on the next time I do this, Lord's will. And one of the main things that I really do want to improve on is just equal quality breastfeeding time. What I found is that while I was exclusively breastfeeding my youngest daughter, I was on and off between breastfeeding and pumping with my oldest daughter. And I realized closer to the end, and even now, I'm getting back into it now because I'm still breastfeeding my oldest daughter, of course, is like she really enjoys that skin-to-skin contact still as much as she did when she was a baby. And I feel like I could do more in making sure that she gets that same experience, because she gets so excited when she gets to breastfeed before Daya, or like when she gets to have me to herself, really. And I think that I want to make sure that even now I'm incorporating it now, because I did do a lot of skin to skin. Like it was just like right before bed. Literally, it was just really right before bed. Right before bed, I would give her a bottle instead of doing skin to skin with her like I was doing with Daya. The rest of the day, I would just breastfeed her skin to skin. But at night, I would just be like, let me just breastfeed Daya, and then you just get the bottle. But I'm starting to really get back to the idea, like, no, she wants that before bed mommy time too. So I want to give it to her because, you know, I want each of my kids to be able to have that equal experience, to say that they got the most from me as a mother. So yeah, that's one thing. And the other thing that I want to incorporate more, that I'm learning to incorporate more, is lactation supplements. And not because my milk was lacking, because that wasn't the issue. It's like an extra boost in my breast milk that I just really liked. Like, I liked how when I take the lactation supplements, I was able to get more out of pumping. Because if you don't know, then I'll explain. When you pump, you get out less than you would if you were to just breastfeed. Like, when you breastfeed, the babies are able to like suck out every last thing, including your soul. It is snatched. But when you pump, you don't get the full extent of what's in your breast. So what I had noticed is that when I was taking the lactation supplements, when I would pump, I would get more. And I really like that, because I do like to try to have at least a couple of bags in the fridge, just in case I'm in too much pain or I'm too tired at night and I just want to just hand off a bottle to one of my little babies. I do like to have that. But yeah, that was the other thing that I really wanted to improve on, just keeping up with the lactation supplements and just keeping up with giving that equal quality time. And one thing that I pray the Most High blesses me to stay in the spirit with this is that I can continue to do skin to skin for the next 3 years for Daya as well. I want to continue to do skin to skin with her, and I am going to make sure that I'm constantly pushing the envelope with myself on sticking to what I said. And I love making videos like these and like telling sisters about my aspirations and my goals as far as mothering, as far as being a wife and a sister to the body, because it holds me accountable, and I want to be held accountable for the things that I'm saying. I want to, because it's going to force me to have to fill the shoes that I've placed in front of me. So that's one thing that I really want to make sure that I do. I want to try to continue to go skin to skin with my youngest daughter up until the end. Of course, she's still going to get some pumped milk every once in a while, but I really want to focus in on maintaining that quality bonding experience with all of my children, because, you know, I feel like that's the least that I can do, is give them the best of me. So yeah, that is my experience with breastfeeding exclusively for the first year. I do mean to continue breastfeeding Peloton for a full 3 years. I'm almost done with the 3-year mark with sales staff, which will be in like 2 months. So I feel like I'm not going to make this video again, probably because I've basically explained the same thing I'm going to explain in that other video. So Lord's will, you guys glean something from it. And again, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just sharing my experience and hoping that the way that I want to model myself after my 4 mothers and try to give my all in breastfeeding, that I could give a little bit of that, shine a little bit of that light your way to try to, you know that you definitely can do it. You are so capable. You are all your baby needs, you know. You got this, sis. You could do it in school. You could do it in work. You could do it while you're pregnant. You got this. And I'm only saying this because I was doing it during those times. So all praises the Most High was able to put me through certain situations so I can come on here and say, you got this. You really do. You really do. So I hope you guys have a good night. I'm still waiting on my DoorDash. And I'll check you guys later. Shalom.